David Broder, the dean of the Washington Press Corps, guy who's been considered liberal all his life, nowhere near it, in my opinion. In fact, does the best job of covering for conservatives. I've never seen him write anything negative about McCain, ever, okay? And he's the first one to bash the liberals and the Democrats. The Democrats, they're split, they're weak, they're this, they're that. The Republicans are right, Democrats are wrong. Okay, because, you know why? He symbolizes conventional wisdom in Washington. And that's how conventional wisdom has been for nearly a couple of decades at this point, but certainly in the last 10 years. So, what is the article he wrote today? Way back to the high road, question mark, and he talked to, look, he's the dean of the press corps, right? So he got to talk to John McCain and Barack Obama. Talked to both of them and asked them about the negative tone of the ads, how the ads have taken a negative turn. Now, any objective reporter can see that John McCain clearly started this with the Britney Spears ad, with the Moses ad, the personal attacks against Obama. Obama was out of the country and not running any ads, basically, when McCain started the attacks. So you'd have to be blind, deaf, and dumb, or purposely blind, deaf, and dumb, not to see that. Of course, instantly Broder says, oh, it's split, it's 50-50. Oh, no, I'm neutral. Okay, the Democrat and the Republican are just as much at fault for how this has turned negative, right? And then he asked John McCain, hey, listen, how do you feel about the fact that there's so much more negative attack ads now when you said you'd run an honorable campaign? Well, he didn't put that caveat. Of course, he wouldn't want to challenge McCain. But here's McCain's quote on it. Quote, I'm very sorry about it. I think we could have avoided at least some of this if we had agreed to do the town hall meetings, right? David Broder sucks, man. He's really got to retire. Why? Okay. So McCain says, I'm sorry about it. Now, you can interpret that in two different ways, to be fair. Like, some people are saying, aha, see, he's apologizing because he knows he went negative. But, you know, you could put that as John Kerry says all the time, you know, when they challenged, we did on the show when he was on here, and I said, how do you feel about Joe Lieberman's obnoxious comments, whatever they were at the time? And he said, I'm sorry to hear that. So McCain could be saying in general, I'm sorry that this has gone in this direction, but not necessarily apologizing for it. Okay? So I'm going to give McCain the benefit of the doubt there, because if he was apologizing, that would be, I think, very big news. But then he says this thing about town hall meetings. None of this would have happened if Barack Obama had just agreed to do what I want to do, which is 10 town hall meetings, where we do it together. Now, here's the deal. For time immemorial, the guy who's leading in the race wants less debates and less appearances together, because those are risky. And the guy who is trailing wants more of those. In this case, Obama's leading and McCain is trailing. Now, David Broder, dean of the Washington Press Corps, must know this, right? Now, it doesn't excuse it, and for my taste, I'd rather have more, okay? And I think Obama would kick McCain's ass, and I think he's turning down an opportunity that he should take, okay? So I'm giving Broder even all of that, right? But what does Broder do? He takes that statement by McCain, and for the rest of the article, blames the whole negative attack ad, you know, situation right now, the climate that we're in now, on Obama for not accepting the town hall meetings. No, but that's not even close to accurate. And Obama says in his quotes later in the article, he says, "What, David, I don't understand what you're saying. Are you saying that John McCain had to attack me with a Paris Hilton and Britney Spears ad because I wouldn't agree to do a joint town hall meeting with him? We're going to have 3 debates later. He said, I asked for 5 debates, and McCain would only agree to 3 debates. So does that mean I can run negative attack ads about him because he didn't agree to the number of debates I want? And Obama's right. That doesn't make any sense at all. But David Broder and the Washington media guys have to support McCain, have to agree with his talking points, no matter what. They don't make sense. They are not supported by the facts. Irrelevant. Job number 1, cover McCain's ass. As usual, and I mean, I'd get more pissed if I hadn't seen 8 articles like this already from Broder. As usual, this article is awful, awful. And so the question he asked, way back to the high road, is answered in his article by, well, if Obama would only do what McCain tells him to do, then we could go back to the high road. But since he doesn't, McCain has to keep running negative ads about it. How do we get into the mess that we're in this country? Because of people like David Broder. I'm not going too far by saying that. They are complicit, and they allowed these Republicans to run roughshod over what used to be our system, whether it's, issues like torture, where it would have been outrageous and unthinkable for a U.S. president to authorize torture, but when they did, people like Broder cover for them and say, well, is it enhanced interrogation? I don't know. Some people call it torture, but others call it enhanced interrogation. And Jack Bauer tells me it's necessary in the fight against terror, so I'm going to cover for them. The Iraq War, it doesn't look like there's any link to Al-Qaeda, but I won't tell people that. Instead, I'll tell them, well, they have good justification for it. And then on Iran, now the same warmongering during the elections. No, don't tell people what an idiot George Bush is. Cover for him and pretend that he is responsible and that he's qualified and that he's a wartime president, and attack John Kerry all day long. And then at the end go, how do we get in the war in Iraq? How do we do the torture? How do we run roughshod over the American justice system? How do we lose habeas corpus? How do we keep electing Republicans? I had nothing to do with it. No, David Broder, you had everything to do with it. Because your job was to tell the American people the truth. And instead of telling them the objective truth, you, in a best-case scenario, played it neutral and called heinous people and good people the same. You called heinous policies and decent policies the same because you thought that was your job, to be neutral. And that's your best-case scenario. In your worst-case scenario, you supported every damn thing these Republicans did as they ruined our reputation and did what they did to this country. And 8 years later, we'll look back at what a mess it is, and then Broder says, I got nothing to do with it. No, David Broder, you and all your friends inside Washington who love these guys and protect them at every turn had everything to do with it.